Let's do this. Alexa, shut the fuck up. All right. Welcome back. All right. Last transaction strategy. I was thinking about leaving this one out, but if I did, I'd be doing you guys a great disservice. This was actually one of my favorite transactions on. It helped me get to my first mill, and why shouldn't I pass it on to you? The absolute assignment of rights. What it's going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to sell wholesale properties to retail buyers. In other words, you're buying low and you're selling at the top of the market. Okay. It is going to allow you to control and resell the property as the seller. It is not going to trigger any flipping or seasoning issues with the new buyer's lending institution. And you're not going to take title. I'm going to take you through it. I'm going to show you a couple examples. I'm going to show you the pitfalls in which, if it's done correctly, there are almost none. And just to make matters even more interesting, years ago, my lawyers actually gave me written permission to say I am the nation's leading expert on this. I've even spoken at Seton Hall Law on it and a couple other places because I'm the fucking smartest man alive. All right. I don't really do anything else but this stuff. So it's really easy to figure it out when I just obsess over it all day and all night. And this is my job. This is my career. This is my passion. This is my beautiful obsession. And if you don't like it or if you don't approach it like that, you're probably never going to be as good. You're never going to be good at a hobby. All right. So let's get into this, right? This is going to be some complicated shit. This is going to be required documentation for an absolute assignment of rights transaction. All right. In this particular property, on the 25th of the first month of the year, we put together a purchase and sales agreement for 180 days. That is between you, your LLC, a land trust, whatever entity you're using, and the seller. I got my authorization to release. I go through the same process where I check a title, I confirm the deal, I cloud the title, I order a payoff. I see everything's exactly the way that I want it to be, or at least pretty damn close. And I get my escrow letter signed. Sometimes you make a couple extra bucks with that. I'll actually show you a situation where the escrow letter worked here. I got my powers of attorney, which do not allow me to collect any money. If they did allow me to collect money in this scenario, it would technically be considered a flip, and I would not be able to sell this property for top dollar and walk away with a huge chunk of change. I'll actually show you one of my first few six-figure deals. I don't have too many other big ones on here. I think I got one that's close to 200. I think my record so far is just under 4. We've had students break 4 already. I am not the heavyweight champ. I got my absolute assignment of rights document, and it's going to function as like a post-HUD statement assignment. I'll show you how that works. I got my deed, my affidavit of title, my seller's residency form, my certificate of non-foreign status, and my 1099. I go and I file a notice of settlement referencing the purchase and sales agreement on the 25th day of the first month of the year. I then market this property like I'm a wholesaler because my title's not recorded. But if I do have that deed, even if it's not recorded, I can still market it as if I own it because I fucking own it. And if anybody contests that, I can bust out the document and just ram it down their fucking throat. So don't fuck with me. All right. Make sure you have the deed if you're going to represent that you own it. Okay. I'm eventually going to find a new buyer. In this particular situation, the new buyer was found the first day of the second month of the year. Okay. I am going to draw up a new purchase and sales agreement. I probably already have it pre-signed with the seller between the new buyer and the old seller. Now, what I have just done is I have breached my original contract. So let's have this discussion. Is breach of contract illegal? Who says yes? And who says no? Okay. If you said no, you're right. It is not illegal. However, it is some kind of civil bullshit enforceable offense. But in this situation, okay, because I put together the original purchase and sales agreement between myself and the seller, and then put together a new purchase and sales agreement between the seller and the new buyer, I am the one who has facilitated the breach of my own contract. Thus, I have violated myself. That sounded pretty freaky. My title is still clouded, so the new buyer and the old seller can't close this deal without me. Furthermore, I've kind of orchestrated the whole thing and just been the puppet master behind closed doors. And I'm kind of the reason that this thing is closing. And by kind of 110%, I'm the reason why this thing is closing. So I used to joke around and say all the time that if anybody was going to sue anybody in this situation for breach of contract, I could sue myself. And that used to be a really bad joke until I actually discovered that, believe it or not, I can go to work at my company one day and I could slip and fall and hurt myself. And then I could actually sue myself or my company. And then I can also settle out of court tax free. So the more you learn about this shit, these are all just tools that go in your tool belt. Don't think that this is practical knowledge or something that anybody knows. I've been sleeping and breathing this for a very long time, and lawyers pay me now to teach them how to understand it and use it in real life. So if that's something you aspire to, I hope someday you get there. And if not, let's just get a couple deals under your belt, make you a ton of money, and then buy some rental properties. All right. Eventually going to hear magical words in relation to the second contract from the mortgage broker writing the loan for the buyer who's together on a purchase and sales agreement after yours with the old seller. You're going to hear those magical words, clear to close. You're going to set a date. You're going to go to the closing. You can use your power of attorney to sign the HUD statement for the seller. If they can't make it, many times, in this case, I will use it. It is not recorded because sometimes they get a little angry, jealous, want to negotiate when they see how much you're making. Meanwhile, nobody sees all the work you put into this. You marketed it. You did a couple phone calls. You probably took a nap. It was rough. A HUD statement will be drawn up. That HUD statement is like a grid. It shows you where all the money goes. You could sign it for the seller with a POA. Somewhere after the HUD statement, but before the checkbook, you are going to provide the closing agent, be it a title company or an attorney, and I would show them beforehand your absolute assignment of rights document that says all the funds go to Chuck Daddy or whoever you want them to go to. Okay. And you can even do these things through your self-directed Roth IRA and get all this money tax-free for life. It's all been blessed. I just got approval from my friend Edwin at his self-directed IRA company. He's going to do one of the last videos here with us, and we're going to show you what to do with the money when you make it, so you can just make more and more and more passively. This is what your situation would look like on paper. This is going to be your ideal situation. This is going to be a contract between you and the seller. You're going to cloud the title. The sheriff's sale is further out than, or your contract goes further out than the sheriff's sale. On this particular diagram here, it looks like the sheriff's sale is probably at about 150 or 160 days. Your purchase and sales agreement or your contract is good for 180. So it overlaps the short sale or it overlaps the sheriff's sale. And yeah, congratulations. You're now in a position where if you don't win, everybody else loses. Down here, this is where you meet your new buyer. You put together the purchase and sales agreement for 30 days. If it doesn't work out, you got plenty of space to keep going. Not all real estate deals work out, but if you do them the way that I'm teaching you, where you put very little down, I'm going to give you permission to be absolutely reckless and just continue stepping to the plate. All right, here's an example of an absolute assignment of rights deal. This is a unique one. I bought this one from somebody who played baseball for the New York Mets. He called me out of a newspaper. He's like, "Do you know who I am?" I was like, "No." "Do you know who I am?" "No." He's like, "Listen, here's the situation. I got injured, and now I can't make payments on my girlfriend's house." I was like, "God damn. This guy's a baller. He bought his girlfriend a house. I just get my girlfriend's cars and diamonds and shit. This guy's buying them houses. I can learn from this guy." He's like, "Yeah, I got hurt. I'm not getting paid. I can't make the payments on my girlfriend's house. And even worse, I don't want my wife to find out. Enter Chuck. This is what this deal looked like. As always, I keep my deposit really low. Purchase price $645, sale price $675. Went real quick. Seller's concession for everybody's closing costs, a little under 15 grand. My net profit was 14 and change. I did get an escrow check on this one towards the end for 3,000 something, and not the greatest deal, but I got it done. And something I learned about professional athletes from this particular transaction is they are actually not adult human beings. They are just grown-up children. They are the result of a kid growing up when they're in fifth grade going, I want to be a fireman or I want to be a baseball player. Only they never lost that fucking dream, nor have they ever matured. Not too bad. Here's another one. This is actually one that I met my partner Linton through. This one was in Teaneck. Pretty unique situation. Binder deposit, $10. Picked it up for $555. Sale price $589. Gross proceeds a little over $33,000. Paid everybody's closing costs. Almost cracked 20. Not too bad. Got an escrow check on that one as well. And I'm gonna give you one more. And this is the one. This is probably my biggest failure that year. I thought I was going to make 200 grand and I fell short. This is a house in Nutley, New Jersey. If you look over to the left, you'll actually see one of our first deal mobiles before we had it wrapped. I got a call from the people on this house and they're like, Chuck, can you buy this house? And I'm like, sure. It's like 3:00. They gave me all the numbers. I saw there's like $200,000 in equity. I almost talked myself out of it. I'm like, there's just no fucking way. Right. I called them back. I'm like, I'll be there at 4:00. They're like, no problem. Leaving country forever for Uzbekistan. Car pick us up at 5. Get here at 4:00. We're ready to sell house. These Russian-looking people, Uzbekistani and wherever the fuck that is. I think it was part of Russia. They sounded Russian. They looked Russian. They were nice people. I get to the house. I ring the doorbell. I go to shake this guy's hand. This Russian-looking dude grabs my wrist and pulls me into the house and goes, come. Brings me to the kitchen. I'm looking around. His wife is there. They got all these papers laid out. Apparently, they were ready to sell me the house too, and I brought all mine. He's like, sign. I'm like, look, we got to sign mine too. No problem. We went through everything. They gave me one of those like bow things, shook my hand, gave me a hug, got in the black car, waiting outside the driveway, drove off to the airport, never to be heard from again. This is another one where I had to use my power of attorney to get it closed, or I never would have gotten it closed. It's now like 4:45. I haven't even looked at this house and I own it. And it's potentially got $200,000 in it. I still don't fucking believe it. I don't believe they own it. I feel like I've been lied to. I'm walking around and I start to realize that this house has got 5 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, a hot tub, a steam shower, an outdoor hot tub as well. It's on a lot and a half. And I'm like, this can't be real. I convinced myself it was some kind of scam. And all of a sudden, 5:00 rolled around, and the phone in the house started ringing. I hadn't turned it off yet, and they still had a landline. And who do you think it was when I picked it up? It was every other real estate investor with a day job trying to make an appointment, but because I didn't work, I got there first. I sold this house in a pretty interesting way, too. I don't know if I included this or not, and it's not that important for the purposes of this course, but it is a really cute story. This is what this particular deal looked like. I was into it for $10, and I picked it up for $527. I sold it for $722. My gross proceeds were $225, $15K for the closing proceeds or closing costs. My net proceeds, look at my math might be a little bit off here, but my net was $179. I told my wife I was going to break 200,000. I fell short. I'm a massive failure. I think I did this by like the 4th or 5th month of the year. And 26, 27-year-old kid should not make that much money in one transaction because I just had a rock star breakdown. Literally, like, went and lived in Hawaii with one of my friends for a month. I actually lost a rental car in the ocean. It's a bad situation. Before I left, I got an escrow check for 5 Gs. That money did not make it back from Hawaii. Honestly, I don't even think it covered the bar tab, and the rental car was a little over 20 Gs to replace. So maybe it went towards that. Wasn't bad. So if we were to look at all the other transaction styles, if we're going to look at the assignment of contract, okay, if we try to assign a contract to a retail buyer, the lender for the buyer is going to call it a flip. There's also going to be 3 people at the closing table. That can be a problem. With subject to deals, you have to take title. There's transfer tax. Okay, there's seasoning. You got to be insured. You've entered the chain of title. You might have to wait 6 months to a year till you can sell it. Short sales are lucrative. They can take a long time. They're a world-class pain in the ass. This is the best way to get your large equity wholesale deals sold to retail buyers. I hope that helps. I hope you guys really understand that and like it. We're going to keep it short. We're going to keep it real. Chuck, go out. Always be closing. Talk to you soon. You got more questions? Hit us up. Bye for now.